Peace and blessings, everyone. It's your favorite truth seeker and teller, Wise. And I'm here to further discuss the plight of men's mental health and the struggles and difficulties that a lot of us deal with silently. It's always been taboo in society, at least American society, for men not to discuss how their feelings and to suck it up or don't be too emotional or this or that. And silently, it's destroying many of us on the inside. You know, we go about our daily lives and we just take what we see, and a lot of times we know that speaking out or complaining it won't get you anywhere. And that's difficult because with a lot of men, you're dealing with a pressure cooker. Everyone has their breaking point. And when you see a man sometimes, and you might see him on the news or something stupid he may have done, out of being able to not control his emotions, you it's never really put into context. It's always you're looking at that man and saying, "Hey, why did he do such something so stupid?" And he's too emotional, but they don't tell you all the other things that he went through before he got to that point. Crying baby at home, um, um, got written up at his job for something that was out of his control. Bills were being raised. Just found out he had an illness that he has to now deal with. His children need clothes for school, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, it just keeps on piling on and on and on and on. And many of us will just sit back and we'll take that with a smile. A lot of times I see where you know, after a man has committed suicide, people will say, "Man, he always seemed like he was such a happy person. I never really thought that he would feel this way. He was that way. It's because that's just the way we're taught and we're bred to be. And if something is wrong with us mentally, many of us just turn around and say, 'Oh, boo hoo,' because we don't want to get the ridicule that the world will give us for having feelings. Having feelings is a normal, natural human experience, whether it be male or female. In my experience, is women are better to dealing with emotions than men are dealing with emotions. That is more their lane. So where the danger comes in is, as a lot of men have been removed from the home with these children, especially the boys, and they're being raised by a lot of single women. I'm not saying a lot of them do a phenomenal job, but teaching them how to be men is just not something that they're able to do. And what happens is once these males start to have these negative emotions, they start acting out in a feminine fashion, which is why you see a lot of this stuff going on nowadays with these young boys. Not even just young, I'm seeing them be older and older now, to where they just do the stupidest things for absolutely nothing. There was a situation here where I live at where there's a guy that he ran a neighborhood store, an older black gentleman in his 80s, ran a neighborhood store, and some people were outside fighting, and one of them pulled out a gun and started shooting, and accidentally ended up shooting the old man that owned the store. And I think he ran that store for like 56 years. I think he'd been there forever. And so when I saw it on the news, I'm saying to myself, "Oh, it had to be some young people. It had to be like some teenagers acting stupid, don't know what to do." When I looked at it in the news, they were all in their mid 40s, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And what's happening is an epidemic, and it's a mental health epidemic. They like to blame it on firearms or guns, and they'll say gun violence, gun violence, but guns are just a tool. The issue is the mental state. Why mentally are we, the first thing that we're doing is taking our actions to somewhere negative, or taking our actions to do something completely, what they say now, they crash out. What is happening? And until we get that under control, uh, this situation is not going to begin to be corrected. It's not. It's not. As long as we're focused on the tool, if that tool is eliminated, then it'll just be another mode of violence that's going to be implemented, and we're going to be in for a vicious cycle. So, I mean, personally, I feel like it's disingenuous the way it's being promoted in the news, in the media. I think that we really need to have a serious conversation about mental health, especially when it comes to men. For females, it's always been encouraged, and they have each other's backs, and they can cry on each other's shoulders when they want to. What happened with a man when needs a shoulder to cry on? Because we do too. At times, we do too. Because I want to tell you like this about myself. You know, when my daughter passed away, when my mother crab passed away, no one saw me cry. I kept it in. I kept all of that in. I couldn't let the world see me crack. You know, that's just the way I was bred. I just couldn't. And on my own time is when I came and I sat and I cried. You know, but what comes along with that is when you keep a negative emotion and stuff like that inside as you deal with life, you know, a lot of us start to look for alternative methods to get those aggressions out. For me, it was eating and drinking. I did a lot of drinking, you know, a lot of drinking, and drinking caused me to do a lot of stupid things. Not necessarily, you know, going out fighting and stuff like that because I'm not an angry drinker. I'm more of a drinker, like to have fun and laugh and stuff like that. But I still did a lot of dumb things, you know, and it could have cost me my life, you know, it's all coming from a place of we're dealing with the situation in life that we experience on a daily basis and don't know really how to deal with it any other way. You know, I drank because I just wanted to forget sometimes. You know, I didn't want to have that constant thought in my mind about the trauma that I experienced, about the rejection I experienced, about the tough conversation I was going to have in the future, about having to deal with my own physical health. When my daughter was living, having to deal with her health. You know, of dealing with a job with people that don't respect you. And then when you put your foot down, they gaslight you and act like you're the crazy one because you put their foot down for them playing in your face. This is what many of us men have to deal with on a daily basis. And we can't bring it home to our families if we have families. We dare not bring that home to our families. The ones of us who know how not to. Because there are some of us that don't know how not to. They will bring it home to their families. And they'll abuse their spouses. They'll verbally and mentally abuse. It doesn't have to necessarily be physical. They'll verbally and mentally abuse their children. You know, and they're taking things out on them that quite frankly they don't deserve. But it's because we don't know how to deal with our emotions because we're never taught to even acknowledge that we have emotions. We're taught to just sit back and suck it up. You know, I've got told directly. I called a friend of mine telling him about how you know, I wasn't feeling well and you know I was having some mental health struggle. He told me to get over it. At a point of being vulnerable, I was told to get over it. Another point, I was told, well, what am I supposed to do with that? And I got hung up on. Just imagine, at some of the lowest points of your life, you reach out to somebody that you feel like that cares about you, and that you need just a little bit of support, just a kind word or a gesture or something, and you get ridiculed for being in pain. Many of us men out here dealing with that, and it's a cultural thing because men are taught to suck it up. And then what we have from that outgrowth, we have people like Stephen Paddock in Las Vegas, Nevada, who will go into a hotel room and start shooting at a hotel room and kill almost 100 people because he doesn't have to deal with it. He doesn't know how to deal with emotions. And then when we go to their doctors, a lot of time they just prescribe us these medications to have all these harmful side effects. You know, they have all these crazy side effects. And I never understood to me how you could have a mental health drug that the side effects is suicidal ideation. Like, why am I taking a side effect, a mental health drug for depression, and one of the side effects is suicidal ideation when I'm trying to avoid that? But the thing they don't tell you, they don't want to tell you also is that what goes hand in hand with suicidal ideation is homicidal ideation. Now that's another topic that we'll deal with on another day. Today's video was done. If you found some value what I had to say, if there's any men out there that think they could relate to this topic of what I'm saying, or if there's any females out there that know some men that might take some value from this, please share with and let's open up a conversation. Please like my video and subscribe to my page. I'm going to be coming with videos like this as much as I possibly can, um, hopefully daily. And I'll be doing my best to build my platform and speak about the plight of men with mental health struggles. Peace and blessings, everyone. Love you.